Oh yes, oh yes. Honorable County Commission meeting is now open pursuant to adjournment. The Honorable Jesse Wallace is president presiding. All you have in business before this commission come forward and you shall be heard. God bless this great state, county, and nation. Mr. Wagner, will you lead us in prayer?
Let us bow. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for this day, the opportunity that we can come together to serve you. We ask for the gifts of wisdom and discernment in every decision we make, that it be for the greatest benefit for all. We ask for your continued protection around our armed forces wherever they may be, give them complete protection and victory with whatever they do. We ask that you be with us now, honor this great state and nation. All these things we ask in your name. Amen.
Mr. Wallace will now lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Smoke if you got it. Smoke if you got it. Yeah.
Ms. Wilson, we get a roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Coleman?
Here.
Mr. Daniel? Mr. Dellinger?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hall?
Here.
Ms. Hampton? Here. Mr. Hooper?
Here.
Mr. Hughes?
Here.
Mr. Hunt?
Here.
Mr. Hurt?
Here.
Mr. Mayberry?
Here.
Ms. Phillips? Here. Mr. Rochelle? Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Wagner?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am.
Damn.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have before you a copy of the minutes from our last meeting. Give you a moment to look those over, or I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion, Mr. Hunt.
Second.
Second, Mr. Wagner. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, citizen petition grievance. Anyone in the audience, citizen, like to address the commission? Very good. Moving on to receiving of committee reports. Fiscal review, budget, personnel, Mr. Hughes.
We met on August the 3rd at 4:30 in the afternoon with all members present. The first item on the agenda was the approval of the July minutes. That was approved. The next item was a physical report for the month of June 2015 after review. This was voted on. The first resolution we had, or the first business we had, was McEwen Park. Mayor Ross presented a request to the committee to consider donating to the refurbishing of the Brian D. Fye Memorial Park in McEwen. After discussion, no action was taken. The first resolution we had was the airport project. This resolution to apply for an entitlement funds for repair at the airport. The grant is in 9010. After discussion, motion and a second, this was voted on to send to the full commission. The next resolution was Buffalo Wastewater. This resolution to approve moving forward with repairs to the wastewater system at an estimated cost of $115,000. Funds come from the Buffalo Wastewater account with no tax dollars being used. After explanation and discussion, this was voted on to send to the full commission. The next resolution was equipment grant. This resolution to apply for a TDEC recycling equipment grant to purchase a small dump cargo trailer and a bobcat. After explanation and discussion, this was voted on to send to the full commission. The next resolution is a used oil grant. This resolution to apply for a TDEC recycling used oil grant. This is a 100% grant to establish used oil collection at the convenience centers. After discussion and explanation, this was voted on to send to the full commission. The next resolution was to approve the funds to the Sheriff's Department for the replacement of a washer and dryer at the jail. After explanation, this was voted on to send to the full commission. The next resolution is surplus property. This resolution to declare surplus and available for sale certain items from the Humphreys County Center for Higher Education. After a motion and discussion, this is voted on to send to the full commission. We adjourned at 5:11.
Commissioners, you've heard the report from Mr. Hughes. Any questions for him or his committee? Hearing nothing, moving on, Public Works and Safety, Mr. Hunt.
Yes, we met on July the 27th at 4:30 with all members present. Approval of minutes was accepted. First thing was the airport project. The committee was made aware of recent airport inspections and areas that need addressing. The county has non-primary entitlement funds, and Mr. Wallace requested permission to pursue to acquire those funds. We passed on to the full commission. Next on the agenda was a building permit, resolutions to opt out of building code adoptions. This has been done with every new commission. This was passed on to the full commission. Next on the agenda was the Buffalo Water wastewater. The committee heard a report on the need repairs for the Buffalo wastewater system and the cost of the repairs. This was passed on to the full commission. Next thing was the I-40 ramp. The state approved repairs and a broken light at exit 143 and a revamping of the exit. Mr. Wallace asked for approval to sign paperwork agreeing to the process. This was passed on to the full committee. Next was the McEwen Convenience Center. The committee discussed the needs for improving at this center to provide better access and a lack of room to provide necessary space for the used oil recycling. The chairman requested Mr. Hooper and Mr. Coleman to look at this and get back with us at the next meeting. And adjournment at 5:30.
There you've heard the report from Mr. Hunt. Any questions for him or his committee? Hearing none, move on. A report and communication from the county executive commissioners and audience members. At this time, I'd like to yield the floor to District 69 Tennessee House Representative Honorable David Shepard, who has asked for this forum in which to recognize a distinguished member of our community.
Thank you. I've come tonight to just take a few minutes of your time to honor your own good friend and my good friend, John Tidwell. As most of you or some of you may know, we have named a portion of Highway 70 in honor of John Tidwell, John L. Tidwell, I think it is, Highway. I've got it right. What is it, C? There it is. And yeah, it's pretty close. And when I do this, and John and I have done this in Hickman County when we used to share the county, I always like to give the family a little replica of the sign. Now, I'm going to sit here and tell you two things that are true. I'm not going to take a lot of time, but number one is one of the signs for John is in the wrong place. They put it actually on the Dixon side of your city limits, and actually it should be on the New Johnsonville side. I called John about it. I came through here this morning on my way somewhere, and I noticed that that was the case, and actually brought somebody with TDOT with me back there who is going to verify. So they will move that because the Bradley family, Mr. J. William Bradley, that particular section of highway is named for him. So we certainly don't want to. And the reason I'm telling you this because I don't want you to blame John. I'm going to blame the county executive of the state of Tennessee. So we're going to get that fixed, and hopefully the next few days they'll get out and fix it. The other thing is normally when we name something for someone or something like that, I normally like to go before the county commission, and I'll tell you why. And I'll go back. John and I, we used to share at Hickman, and we had a scheduled event one Saturday morning for someone that we named part of Highway 104. And the family all came in, it was about 30 or 40 people. And it was supposed to be at 11 o'clock. Well, about 10:50, it started raining. and it rained hard. And then we were out there trying to get it finished, and we almost got run over because we were out on the highway because we were going to unveil the sign. So I learned a good lesson right there. I thought, you know, this is kind of ridiculous to get out on the highway and have somebody possibly get hurt. So what I decided to do is, from now on, when I do these kinds of things, and it's an honor to do it, then we'll do it at the county commission meeting and county executive. I'm going to call you Mayor, county executive. I appreciate Jesse. You have to do that. Let me just, before John come up. I didn't realize this, but John, and I've got a few notes here that I want to read. John, you can hold my microphone for me. Here's my engineer. The legislature has chosen to honor one of its own, Representative John Tidwell, who served Humphreys County, the 74th District, in the state of Tennessee for the past 18 years. He was also once a member of this commission, New Johnsonville City Council, and other commissions here in Humphreys County. He served the state for 10 years as chair of the State Parks Subcommittee, Environment, Conservation, Transportation, and Agricultural Committees. Along with a lengthy list of legislative accomplishments, he will be best remembered for the state's logging and timber bills, which he wrote and passed when clear cutting became a problem in our whole state, really, a few years ago. An accomplishment that earned him Legislator of the Year award 2 different years. Here in Humphreys County, you'll remember him at budget time as he wrote and passed the Tennessee River Resort Act, bringing in each year a recurring stream of money. The bill was designed to promote the river counties and tourism along the river as NAFTA took our small manufacturing jobs. Now, on behalf of the state of Tennessee, I'd like to present to John Tidwell, not 1, but 2 copies of his sign that's going to be out on the highway. And again, it'll be on one end of the city limits of Waverly and the other. So, John, there you go. And we'll have this thing fixed. And, you know, personally, I'll tell you, John and I worked together at least 14 years. Yes. And I miss him. John is as all of you know, he's an engineer by trade, and he looks at things differently than me, the pharmacist. And sometimes that's good because I don't see the little things that John sees. So, and I also, County Executive Wallace, I've got a couple of flags here that I wanted to donate on behalf of John. One of which is an 8x10 U.S. flag that's hard to come by. No, it's a 6x10. Y'all can fly that somewhere at one of your big poles in the Tennessee. Thank you for letting me come. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I want to tell you it's a pleasure for me to accept this, and it's a pleasure to have served you the long 18 years in the state government. It's also a pleasure to have sit amongst you in this group right here on the county government, as well as the city government and the planning commission chairman from the industrial sites down in the Johnsonville area. Thank you, and quite an honor for me to receive this, and I do appreciate the time you have allotted me to do it. Thank you, all of you. It's been a pleasure being a servant for you. Thank you.
Okay. Short and sweet. You didn't identify me with the family.
Yeah.
All means, please do.
Also, when I was running for office, I always forgot my wife, and don't ever do that, Jesse. If you're running for office, you always mention your wife. My wife is here shortly, my granddaughter Cassie, my daughter Nikki, and my son John. And I really appreciate the support and the time that they have allotted me to, in the past, to have served this job. Thank you.
Representative Tidwell, I know I speak for the board when I say that we share in the esteem we hold you on high, and we appreciate your service to this county, to its municipalities, and to the state as a whole. Your service has been extraordinary, and we appreciate it. We're honored to be a part of this this function.
Thank you all.
Very good. Moving on, next item on the agenda, resolutions. First of which is the building permit opt-out. There's a law on the books that would apply building codes to new construction of all new 1- and 2-family homes. And, it requires the establishment of an inspection and permitting process for every county in the state. This resolution opts us out of that requirement. I have a motion, Mr. Dillinger.
Second.
Second, Ms. Hampton. Discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, I-40 ramp improvement contract. TDOT has developed plans for a project that will improve the westbound exit ramp at I-40 in the Buffalo community. It's funded at 100% and includes the interstate lighting replacement. This action authorizes me to enter into the necessary agreements.
So moved.
A motion, Mr. Hurt.
Second.
Second, Mr. Hunt. Discussion. Any discussion? A roll call, please. Maybe.
Mr. Coleman.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Dillinger. Mr. Hall.
Yes.
Ms. Hampton. Yes. Mr. Hooper.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Hunt.
Yes.
Mr. Hurt.
Yes.
Mr. Mayberry.
Yes.
Ms. Phillips. Yes. Mr. Wagner.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Motion carries.
One point on this last item. If you'll recall, we've had a total of 2 of these completely destroyed. The insurance company for the unfortunate victims of the second accident replaced the one on the eastbound exit. But this one has been out several years, and that money was unrecoverable. But and we had appropriated the money to replace that, but we received these notification of these plans, and was able to convince TDOT to include that in the project. About $50,000. Okay, moving on. Next item, airport improvement projects. TDOT Aeronautics has noted in inspection that our facility, our apron and main hangar are in need of rehabilitation. This resolution authorizes me to apply for project approval of this work using our available non-primary entitlement funds. Local match will hit a maximum of $79,600. There's a good chance that it'll come in at 50% of that. As currently the state is matching 5% of total project costs.
Move to approve.
Have a motion, Mr. Hughes.
Second.
Second, Mr. Hall. Discussion. I'll present to the Tennessee Aeronautics Commission either Thursday of this week or 1 month later, depending on when they can get me on the schedule. Roll call, please.
Mr. Coleman.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Dillinger.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hall.
Yes.
Ms. Hampton. Yes. Mr. Hooper.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Mr. Hunt.
Yes.
Mr. Hurt.
Yes.
Mr. Mayberry.
Yes.
Ms. Phillips. Yes. Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Wagner.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Next item, Buffalo wastewater system repairs. Inflow and infiltration problems have been identified at our Buffalo wastewater treatment facilities. Repairs are estimated by the engineering firm of Barge Wagner, Cannon and Sumner, approximately $115,000. I'm requesting commitment of the funding and permission to move forward with bidding this out. Motion, Mr. Wagner.
Second.
Second, Mr. Hunt. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Coleman,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Dellinger,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Ms. Hampton,
Yes.
Mr. Hooper,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Hunt,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Mr. Mayberry,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips, Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Wagner.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next item, TDEC Recycling Equipment Grant. Have an opportunity to apply for a grant that would reimburse us for the purchase of some equipment that we would use to facilitate recycling at the convenience centers and at the shop area. Staff has identified the need for a dump-capable cargo trailer and a Bobcat-style machine. Value of the grant is $25,000 and a 25% local match. I need authorization to apply and then execute if we're awarded the contract commitment of the funds. Yeah, have a motion, Ms. Phillips. Second, Mr. Coleman. Discussion.
Mr. Coleman,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Dellinger,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Ms. Hampton,
Yes.
Mr. Hooper,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Hunt,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Mr. Mayberry,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Wagner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item, TDEC Recycling Used Oil Collection Grant. This is approval of an application for a grant that will be used to purchase used oil collection stations for each of our convenience centers. Grant's 100% funded.
Motion, Mr. Chairman.
A motion, Mr. Coleman.
Second.
Second, Mr. Hurt. Any discussion?
Mr. Coleman,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Dellinger,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Ms. Hampton,
Yes.
Mr. Hooper,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Hunt,
Yes.
Mr. Hurt,
Yes.
Mr. Mayberry,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Wagner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item, Sheriff's Department, washer, dryer, replacement. These units serve the jail, and washer is virtually out. The dryer is on its last leg. These were purchased several years ago, used, and have just about played out. Special size and are expensive, but absolutely necessary.
Move to approve.
A motion, Mr. Hughes.
Second.
Second, Mr. Hall. Discussion.
Mr. Coleman,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Dellinger,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Ms. Hampton,
Yes.
Mr. Hooper,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mr. Hunt,
Yes.
Mr. Hurt,
Yes.
Mr. Mayberry,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Wagner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Very good. Next item, surplus property. The Humphreys County Center for Higher Education has an enrollment that's going to greatly increase the level of the student body at the Nashville State campus in Waverly. Need to make room for the technology students that we have already signed up for the P-Tech and M-Tech classes. This resolution declares certain pieces of equipment as surplus and authorizes me to dispose of them in the prescribed manner.
Motion, Mr. Chairman.
A motion, Mr. Hall. Second, Mr. Hunt. Questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, notaries.
We have 4 nominations this month: Eddie Tarpey, Sherry Patterson, Rhonda Jackson, and Kelly Ann Pruitt.
Move to approve.
Have a motion, Mr. Hughes.
Second.
Second, Ms. Hampton. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, other business. Commissioners, any of you have anything you want to bring before the commission? Very good. I have a motion, Mr. Wagner. Second, Mr. Hunt. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.